Okay, thank you for bringing that up. I am recording this session now. Okay, so that is really good, and we need to be very careful when we are rendering our elements, because if we mess up one element, then it's not going to be placed properly in the HTML, and the browsers may not read it. What I mean by that is basically, if an element is started, you need to make sure that the same element is ended. If you don't end that element, then the browser will get confused as to when to stop rendering that element, and then you will end up in performance issues. If for some reason there is no element, if you just see a simple string, then the browser will interpret as nothing, and it's going to show simply as it understands. So yesterday we talked about the document type. We talked about the flavors of HTML, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did not cover HTML 3, 2, 1 because they are no longer important. They don't even exist in this world, you can say. HTML4 and HTML5, we looked at the differences. And today and nowadays we are learning about HTML5. And in today's class, we're going to explore more elements, the predefined elements that are available for us. Moving forward, using the power of JavaScript language, we will get the power of creating our own elements. But till then, we are stuck with the elements that are available to us by default, provided by the World Wide Web Consortium. Okay? Before we jump into uh, the actual element process, we are going to understand what are how the browser reads an element, and what are the types of defining that element. Okay, browsers interpret the elements. Okay, browsers interpret the elements via two ways. One way is by block level element, and the second one is inline level element. Okay, బ్రౌజర్స్ వచ్చేసి HTML లోపల రెండు విధాలుగా ఎలిమెంట్స్ ని రీడ్ చేస్తాయి. One type is block level, the second type is inline level type. A block level element will basically have dimensions. Okay, block level element has dimensions, meaning we can forcefully set dimensions to a block level element. If we want to, we can make it a rectangle element, we can make it a square element, or a circular element. It's up to us. We have that power. We can manipulate that. And this is necessary because we want to, we should have the power of rendering the element our own way, so that we can beautify it our way. So like, for example, if I go to this google.com, right? And if I inspect on this particular guy, you'll see that there is like the logo Google is the blue mark, and then there is some green overhead on top of that. This treats this entire Google image element as a block level, and I can manipulate its dimension. I have that power, so that I can place this Google at the center, or at the left side, or at the right side. It's totally up to me. I have that control. So that is the beauty of having a block level element. The inline element, on the contrary, does not have dimensions. When I say does not have dimensions, that means it takes the dimensions from its child element. Okay, meaning if the child element has some dimensions, let's say 10 pixels or 11 pixels or 10 inches or 10 meters or whatever, the parent element is going to take whatever dimensions the child has. Okay? We will not have control on this inline elements. We simply cannot control the dimensions of it. And in most of the cases, we use inline elements just to show string content. So if I go back here and open up my project, okay, and if I go to index, and if I open up the Chrome, right, and if I close this guy, open up here, okay. Now, if I simply have a text here, this is body, something like that, okay. This string, if I refresh, if I inspect element on this particular element, you see it's taking, like, if it's highlighting on the body, the entire body. And if I hover over it, you see the body takes the width of the entire screen. So the width of this body, we can say that this body element is an block level element. And I can, manipulate the width of this element if I want to. But the element inside that, this is string. Since it is not an element, it's just a string, we are not able to see whether it's an element or not. Okay. A good example of block level element, examples of block level elements are body, an element called div, in short for divisions, short for divisions, oops, not divisions, sorry, divisions. Another good example in HTML5, this is added in HTML5, section, article, header, footer. All these elements are basically block level elements, and so forth. I mean, there are so many elements that are block level elements, and good examples of inline are span, I think anchor tags, and then image blocks, so forth. There are so many. These are some to name few. Now we will see one element after the other. Since we already have a body, we have already seen it, we can always have a div, and the closing tag is like this. And if I have, let's say, a span inside that, and I say this is a text, and if I save it, now if I go back to Chrome and if I render it, I'll inspect element on this. You see the span takes exactly the dimension of what its child has. Since the child inside that is just a string, it's going to take the dimension of the string. So if I change the string on the fly, let's say, okay, if I keep on going like this, like this, like this, like this, okay, previously the width of the span is 82.2 and 17 is the height, okay. Now if I change the text, now the width of the span has increased from 82.2 to 434.06, with height stays the same. So this is what I meant by inline level element. You do not have control over its dimensions. You cannot change its dimensions just from the HTML. Whereas the div, you see the div takes the entire width of the screen. That means it's a block level element, and basically we can manipulate its dimensions if you want to. And to manipulate its dimensions, that that comes under styles, CSS. When we are dealing with CSS, I'll explain you how do you change the dimension. But for the time being, understand what is the difference between a block level element and an inline level element. Okay, clear? Now we have seen what a block level element does and what an inline level element does. With that being said, in HTML5, a new concept was introduced called Trinity. Okay, this keyword Trinity, you will not find it anywhere. It's just a slang. A slang is like an informal way of calling something. This Trinity is basically introduced to in HTML, and what it says is basically a website, any website, okay, any section of the website. Let's say this is my website, okay. Any website should have a header, should have a footer, and should have a body. This is what the Trinity in HTML5 means. With that concept, you see, if I go to google.com, this the top bar where I have Google images icon and then my photo, this entire is the header. And if you look at the bottom, you have advertising, business, about, privacy, terms, settings. You see at the very bottom, that's your footer. And then the main content is your body. This concept was introduced in HTML5. And no matter what website you take it, any website, if I go to GitHub, you will see, like, the top, the grayed out where I have this icon here, the search bar, pull request and all that, that's my header. If I scroll down at the very bottom, this is my footer. You see this at the very bottom? That's my footer. And then anything between these two is my body. So this is what is called as Trinity. I don't know why the Trinity keyword came up. I have no idea, but people came up with the keyword called Trinity. And what Trinity says is that every website, every section, you can say, or every element should be a child of article. Okay. Inside that, you should have a header. Okay. It should have a footer, and then it should have a body. Since we already have the keyword body, we cannot write body again. Remember one thing, the element HTML, the element head, and the element body have to be written only once. You cannot repeat them. Whereas all the other elements, you can repeat it. It's fine. But HTML, head, and body, they are written only once. You cannot repeat them again. That's the thumb rule of HTML. You just have to just learn that rule. Okay. Clear, guys? So the Trinity works like this. You have an article, you have a header, you have a section, and then finally you have a footer. This combination, okay, this combination is what Trinity means. Come on, Notepad. This Trinity is only possible in HTML5, And the reason because is article, header, section, and footer, they don't exist in HTML4. We discussed this yesterday. HTML5 was like these new tags, these new elements was introduced in HTML5. That's why this Trinity concept holds only in HTML5. Okay, clear, guys? No matter what sections you write, no matter how many elements you have, you should always have this hierarchy. This is what we call it as Trinity. Now I can again inside the section, I can always have another article. Inside that I can always have another header and then footer and then again another section and so forth. I can keep on nest this. మీరు ఇప్పటి నుంచి మీరు ఏదైనా HTML మీరు కనుక ఒక సెక్షన్ ఒక ఎలిమెంట్ రాస్తున్నారంటే మీ HTML లో ఈవెన్ మీ అసైన్మెంట్స్ మీ ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఏదైనా ఉందండి, యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఫాలో ది HTML5 ట్రినిటీ స్ట్రక్చర్. అదేంటంటే ఫస్ట్ ఆర్టికల్ element is the parent, then your header, then comes the section, and then comes the footer. మీరు ఈ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఫాలో చేయాలి. What I mean to say is you should be stepping off using the divs. Divisions are old school now, okay, but that doesn't mean you should not be using it. You just use it for little purposes. Your entire structure of your website should be in these blocks. So you have an article, a header, section, and footer. Your section is the body, so you can always have another article, another header, section, and a footer. In most of the cases, the header will hold the navigation bar, okay, and the element for that is nav. This was introduced in HTML5 again. Okay, a nav can have a header. Now, a heading. Now we have so many headings present for us, and to denote a heading in HTML is by saying H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. H1 is the biggest one, is bigger. So I'll show you an example. I have an H1 here, and I'll say trigger, and then I'll copy this and I'll say H2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me change this to 6. We have 5, we have 4, we have 3, and we have 2. See, as I'm writing my code, I'm not writing the code one after the other. I'm not writing like this, okay? Or I'm not writing it like this. And the reason is it's very difficult for the next developer to understand when an element started and when an element ended. That's why you need to put all the siblings. H4 and H5 and H6 are siblings. They should be one below the other. Okay? So with the same concept, I have H1 like this. H2 is the sibling. H3 is the sibling. So I'll be writing like this. You see, the parent is here, the child is here. I'm following the indentation. You never write one element right next to the other element. You write it one below the element. Have that, you must always have that practice. Please have that practice. Now if I save like this, if I go back and refresh my page, you will see I have H1, H2, H3, okay, this This is H1, this is H2, this is H3, this is H4, H5, H6, so on. Can you see the pattern here? The sizes are decreasing. So H1, I don't know why this is, oh, that's why, okay. Never mind. The H1 is said to be the heading with the biggest heading. H2 is a smaller heading compared to H1. H3 is much smaller. H4 is smaller. H5, H6, and so forth. Usually the H1 is supposed to be having the biggest font. I don't know why, but Chrome is forcing here. And by the way, if you inspect element like this, okay, on the left hand side you will see the HTML, and on the right hand side you will see the CSS of it. Don't worry about this, I will cover it again, but keep track. H1 is supposed to be the biggest. I don't know why, but Chrome is rendering it like this. But anyways, H1 is usually the biggest one, H2 is smaller, H3 is much smaller, H4 is much smaller, 5 and 6 is the smallest one of all. Okay, so those are the headings for us. And usually you put a heading either inside the navigation if your requirements are like that. If not, you can simply put this heading inside your header tag like this. Okay, this is how your headings should be. Okay, clear guys? Do you see the structure that I'm following here? I have an article, I have a header, inside that I have the biggest heading I have. Let me change this to header like this. Then I have the body, and then finally I have a footer here. Let me change this to say H2 and body, header, and then finally in the footer I have another H3 which says I am footer. So if you go back, refresh it, you'll see something like this. I'm the header, which is the biggest font. I'm the body, which is heading 2, and then finally I have a footer. If I inspect element on the header, you will see the header element is a block level element. It takes the width of the entire screen. Similarly section, similarly the footer. And finally the parent article is again a block level element. So with this thing in our mind, what we'll be basically doing is, actually I forgot one small step here, I'm sorry. I will be creating a new directory. I'll be giving it today's date, and I will be copying this file inside this paste. Yes, yes. And then I'll right click on the file, index file that I made changes to. Okay, this is the file I made changes to. I'll just right click, I'll say git revert, and then this will revert my changes, whatever I've written here. See, you see I have this Trinity structure here now. If I go back, it will change back. Git is going to replace to the previous code, and it's going to make it clean. So that's a small Git learning curve, and this is possible in IntelliJ only, by the way. So anyways, I was saying that we have been following the HTML Trinity like this, and from this point on I want to look the HTML Trinity in this way in your assignments as well, and in any code that we're going to write in the near future. Okay, you must follow the indentation like this, and our job is to mainly have at least one header, at least one footer, and then at least one body. In this case, I have the first header here with h1, and I have a footer h3 here. Now inside this section, I can always have another trinity which have another header, a section, and a footer. Now close thing to remember here is this header can be empty, this footer can be empty. It's okay. You will still write an element, an empty element like this, and leave it. You will be dealing with the section inside the second article, and inside that we'll be writing something else, like we'll be writing we will have another element called paragraph, which is denoted by P, and then we can say this is paragraph 1, and then I'll just copy this keyword blah blah blah. Okay, something like that, and then I'll copy this and then paste it. So that means there are two paragraphs here, and I'll just say paragraph 2. And when I save this guy, there is not going to be any change in the rendering of the website because it's still pointing to that old one. Let me change this. You see, when rendering the elements, browser is not going to get confused. It's going to leave the header. So I have the header here, I have the footer here. This is the section which has another article. The header is empty, the footer is empty, and then the section has two paragraphs. Okay, I can always go to the inner header and then just say h5 inner header, and then just save it. And if I go back here, it will come like this. So you see, in nowadays, people in any company or any other coding team is going to expecting HTML Trinity from you, and this is how you write it. You should always have article, you should always have a header, section, and then a footer. I'm sorry, is there any question?
Is nav is inline or block?
Let's find out. I don't know. I have written a nav. Inside that I have, okay, let's say I want to have a list of elements, okay? And in HTML, there are two ways, okay? There are two ways of having lists in HTML. Unordered list and then ordered list, okay? And I'll be teaching like I know I'm capturing random elements as I'm going through each and every course, but the HTML is so random that you will encounter new elements as you explore HTML itself. So one of the good example, as I just said, unordered list and ordered list, right? That's one of the elements. If I want to have an unordered list, I'll be representing it by UL, means unordered list, and inside that I'll have LI, list item. So unordered list is the parent, and each list is represented by the keyword LI. I will have, let's say, home. I can have contact us, and then finally about us, something like that. Uh, just give me 1 second, guys. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, the unordered list is set by the keyword ul, unordered list, and then each list item is set by li. And if I save this and if I refresh the website, you see these dots, these 3 dots. This is what is meant by the unordered list because there is no ordering. It's not going to keep track of any order. And if I go back and hover over this nav, you see this nav takes the entire width of the screen. That means it's a block level element. Okay, let me tell this. Let me tell a small trick here. All the new elements that were introduced in HTML5 are block level elements because as you can see in the inline, we don't have the power to mess around with the dimensions. The people who developed HTML5, they didn't want that kind of problems because it handcuffs our heads. We cannot deal with those elements. So all these new elements, the nav, article, section, header, footer, all these new elements that were introduced are block level elements. So nav is block level element. And now let's say if I want to have an ordered list. I missed out one small thing. The unordered list will have only one child and that's li. You should not be writing divs inside that. It's lexically wrong. And when I say lexically means an unordered list is looking for a list. An unordered list is looking for a list. It's not looking for paragraphs or divs. So writing divs inside the UL element is lexically wrong. So if I have something like this is a div, it will still render it. But it's not a part of UL anymore. You see, I don't have that dot in front of it. So a key point to remember is that the elements, let me say, UL and ordered list OL can have only one child element, and that is li, list. Okay. So to represent an ordered list, I'll simply say OL. Can you get that? Okay. And to write an ordered list, we simply use OL, which is ordered list. And then inside that, again, we have items. And I'll simply copy the same, okay? Let me copy the same thing. You see, all the list items, LIs, I'm writing one below the other. I'm not writing one after the other. Never ever write like that, okay? Always write LIs one below the other. And if I go back and refresh, now you'll see I have the numbering system. 1, 2, 3. They are ordered. They are ordered one after the other. That is the basic difference between unordered list and an ordered list. Clear, guys? Are you getting so far? Any questions? Unordered lists లో ఏ ordering ఉండదు. Prati element, prati list is listed by a period. Okay, like this. కానీ ఆర్డర్డ్ లిస్ట్ వచ్చేసి మనం ఒక ఆర్డర్ ఇస్తున్నాం దానికి. ఆ ఆర్డరింగ్ వచ్చేసి రిప్రజెంటెడ్ బై ద కీవర్డ్ OL as the element name, అండ్ ఇంకా అది ఆ ఆర్డరింగ్ వచ్చేసి 1 2 3 4 5 6 అట్లా ఉంటుంది అనమాట. అది బేసిక్ డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ అన్ఆర్డర్డ్ లిస్ట్ ఇంకా ఆర్డర్డ్ లిస్ట్. అండ్ దిస్ ఇస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ important because when you are writing applications for a financial firm, they basically would want to have a list of all the an ordered list of all the transactions that they want to see, and based on that you will be asked to develop your website. So that's why this unordered list and ordered list are kind of important. As we move forward with this course, you will understand how we can make use of these unordered and ordered lists more efficiently. Okay, so far any questions, guys? మీకు ఏదైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉందా? చెప్పండి నాకు ఇప్పుడే. ఏ టాపిక్ అర్థం కాకపోతే నేను మళ్ళీ చెప్తాను.
Hi Srikar, this is Bhaskar.
Yes, tell me.
So this Trinity structure you are talking about. So yeah, what is the use of having so many headers and footers? Does it
Okay.
make our
I'm glad you asked it. I'm very glad you asked it. Anyone else has any questions before I answer this?
Yes, Srikar, I have a small question.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
So generally we use navbar for heading and footer for down of the web page, right?
Headers and mostly, let's see. This is how the human eye reads. Okay, the human eye reads from top to bottom and from left to right. So in modern web development, what people wants to see is the first thing as a navigation bar at the top, so that it's helpful for the users to quickly navigate to their websites. So that's why you have that nav keyword or the nav element in the header. You can always put nav in the footer also. Even these are navigation bar, by the way. But you need to scroll down at the very bottom of the page, right? Yes. Most of the users, they don't like it. So you on 99%, you'll put this navigation on the header itself. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes.
I mean, you can always put navigation anywhere you want. You can, I mean, in my code, if I want a nav, I can always take this down and put it inside my inner section. I can do that. But that throws off the user. See, all of a sudden in the center of the page, as I said, the page enters one line after the other. So the first element, it formed a header, but then let's assume that these unordered lists are navigations. Let's assume. So it throws off the user, saying that how come a navigation is sent in the center of the page, right? That throws off the users. So that's why you either put your navigation at the very top or at the very bottom, and that's why you'll see headers. 99% of the time, headers will have the navigation bar. Okay, that answers your question. Sorry, that answers your question.
Srikar, this is Harish. We have a couple of doubts.
Go ahead.
How to convert inline to block or block to inline? And one more doubt, when you are rendering this page, it's showing like localhost 633342. Like, did you set any web.xml and local port over there to launch the application?
To answer the first question, we will learn how to convert an inline to block level and block level to inline when we are dealing with style sheets, okay, CSS. I'll tell you at that point. I'll come back to these same examples, and then I'll explain you how styles work with HTML, and then how basically you can convert the block level to inline and vice versa. Okay. To answer the second question, IntelliJ creates a proxy server and it uses that proxy server to host this file. So when I right click on this index.html, right, I'll say open in browser and then I'll select Chrome. Internally, what IntelliJ does is basically create a proxy server, and it will basically capture this index.html as the main index.html file, and it will host it. So this local host, this is from IntelliJ. I don't have control over that.
Yeah, okay, got it, Shrikar. Like Sublime don't have that feature, right?
No,
It
Sublime
directly
doesn't.
open the path of
Yep.
file.
That's the reason why I said try IntelliJ, guys, because it's almost like Sublime, but it has all these features, and you will love it. I mean, you can encourage the company that you're going to work with to use IntelliJ, and people will use it for sure.
Yeah.
I can also go back to my folder and open up my directory and simply right click that HTML, and then I say just open it from Google Chrome. I can also do that. It will work. It's the same thing. Okay.
Better to have a proxy, right? Like
It's
server.
not necessary. I'm saying like it's my convenience basically. I'm used to it.
Yeah. For
And
the real time, we need a proxy to run the application better.
yes, that's true. And we'll get there. Okay, we'll get there in the later of this. We'll get there at the end of this course. So don't worry about that. I'll also explain you what is proxy, what the hell I'm talking about. No, others don't worry about it if you don't get what we're talking about. As we at the end of these course base, we'll get to understand what a proxy is and how does it's useful. Okay. To answer the main question that was asked, why do we need this article, header, section? Why do we need this stupidity? It's because to keep your code base clean. Okay. And if you pay a close attention, I don't know what div stands for unless and until I told you guys. Div stands for divisions. Okay. I told you like a span is an element. Now, what is the meaning of the word span? What is the meaning of the word div? Divisions. It's hard for the developer yourself to understand, what does that element is, unless and until
Mhm.
someone like me or someone like other developer comes and explains you. But if I go back here and if I say the keyword body, you can it's like A for apple. You can picture in your mind, okay, it's a body. Okay, then we have an article, like how you have articles in newspaper. Like in newspaper,
Yeah.
if you look at newspaper, they have columns, and inside each column they have small articles about the
Mhm.
news. So I
Yeah.
can relate this article with that article. The keyword header, it clearly says it's the header of the website, or it's the header of the article. There is a section inside my article, and then finally we have a footer inside my article. So I can treat this entire block as an article in my website. I can have multiple articles in my website. And each
Yeah.
article will have its own header. Each article will have its own body or sections. And each article will have its own footer. Okay? If I'm using divs, I can write this in divs, but it will be so confusing. See, I'll show you. I can have my article. Inside that I have a header, and then inside that I have my section, and then inside I have my footer. Okay. Now let's say my footer or my body is so big that you don't see. All I see is divs, divs, divs. It's very confusing, right?
Yeah.
And unless and until I tell you what a div is, you don't even know what that element is.
Okay.
So for developers like us, myself, tomorrow you, day after tomorrow someone else, and all the other developers who are going to be writing your HTML code, it is for their understanding that they came up with these keywords called article, the header, the footer, and the section.
Mhm.
Even the keywords like nav, which clearly means navigation, the keyword form means it's a form, the keyword button, so forth. Okay, all these elements will make us understand ఈ అన్ని ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఏదైనా ఉన్నాయో వీళ్ళు పేరు ఎట్లా పెట్టారంటే మనకు అర్థమయ్యేట్లా పెట్టారు. ఒక ఆర్టికల్ అంటే మీరు మీ మీ అంటే మీ బ్రెయిన్స్ లో యూఆర్ ఇమాజినింగ్ ఒక ఆర్టికల్ అంటే ఎట్లా ఉంటుంది. అఫ్ కోర్స్ దానికి ఒక హెడింగ్ ఉంటుంది, దానికి ఒక బాడీ ఒక సెక్షన్ ఉంటుంది, దానికి ఒక ఫుటర్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, సో టు మేక్ us developers life easier, this structure, this article was introduced, sorry, not article, this entire way of Trinity structure was introduced. Okay,
Mhm. Yeah,
this
that's good.
this is what we call as semantic HTML. Semantic HTML. In interview, people will ask you what is semantic HTML. In HTML5 introduced semantic HTML. A semantic HTML is a way of making us developers understand what that element is, what's its function. Okay, and if you do a Google, different websites have their way of showing the Trinity. If I simply do a Google on semantic HTML, the first W3C school, this website, these people have a different way of interpreting the Trinity. See, a semantic element clearly describes its meaning. Div, spans, these don't tell us anything about itself. Whereas keywords like form, a table, article clearly says like, okay, this is a form, this is a table, this is an article, so forth. So if I scroll back, this structure of having header, then section, well, this guy, as I said, this guy is interpreting the Trinity in his way, but basically the structure of having a header, a section, and a footer, this is what a semantic HTML is. Okay, we follow semantic HTML because tomorrow if a new developer joins the company and if he looks at your code, he or she should be able to make out what that element does and where that element ended. So like for example, if I have like this, if I scroll down, I can clearly make out, okay, this section closes and then there is a footer and then a article ends and then a body ends and then a HTML ends, so forth. So we are following that hierarchy. We are following that structure. Clear?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah.
Others, did you understand like why do we have this structure and why do we need it? What is HTML Trinity? In today's class, we discussed about HTML Trinity, semantic HTML, what is article, what is a section, what is a header, footer, so forth. We also discussed about block level elements. We also discussed about inline elements. Okay. In this entire class, what are we going to do is basically we will be creating a form. Okay, we will create a form. Inside that form, what will happen is we will be having input fields where users can enter information. We will introduce a button and then we will introduce a logo, an image. This will cover the concepts of entire semantics of HTML. We'll discuss about the header, we'll discuss about the footer, we'll discuss about a new element called a side, and then we'll discuss about the section of this entire document. Okay, we will not throw away this form. We'll be using that form and we will make it beautiful. And when you click on this button, something will happen and it will show one element. We'll try if you can try to get that. Okay. And as we advance into much further advanced courses like AngularJS MVC, we will have two separate HTML files. And when you click on this submit button, what will happen is it will call the other HTML and it will completely replace our form with the new HTML. That's only possible from a framework like AngularJS. So we will get to that. We'll get to that point. No worries. So in today's, as I said, we discussed about the HTML Trinity, semantic HTML, block and inline level elements. At this point, does anyone have any questions? Anyone? No questions? అందరికీ అర్థమైంది అనుకుంటానైతే మీకు ఏదైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే ప్లీజ్ షేర్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద గ్రూప్. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so you told about like what you call Trinity concept, right? So inside article we can have header, section, and footer. Yes. And can we have one more Trinity inside all these three header, section, and footers? Like
you can always have it. Yes.
Trinity.
Yes. You can always have another Trinity inside your header. You can always have another Trinity inside your footer. You can totally have it.
And how about section? Inside section?
I already have it, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I already have another Trinity inside my section, right?
Yes. Yeah. I can see.
So you can always do that. But most of the time, a header expects a heading. Okay? A footer expects the content for the footer.
Okay.
Most of the time, you will not see another Trinity inside a header or a footer. 99%
okay, that's the reason you didn't mention.
Yeah, that's why I don't mention, because you see, inside the header I'm expecting a heading. That's it, a heading of the website. That's the meaning of header. Like your newspaper, let's say Indian Express, that's the big heading. That's the header of their newspaper. Then you have a section inside that, and then each section has a header, like 4 died in a shooting or something. That's the header for that particular article. So we follow the same structure in our website also, in website development.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, that answers, right?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, Shweta, let's see. Is Trinity a standard technically used term? Well, as I said, Trinity is a slang. It's not an actual word in the website development. There is no other keyword to explain you the entire structure. So people sometimes call it as Trinity, and the keyword Trinity is because I think, and I'm totally assuming, is because of the fact that it has a header 1, 2, and 3, which is tri. So I think it's Trinity. So they go by that keyword. I don't know. As I said, this is a slang. If you do a Google on this HTML Trinity, I am positive you're not going to find anything. It's just a made-up slang used by the other developers, and I kind of like it. So I'm teaching you by the same sense. Okay, it's not a word. It's not a technical word anywhere. You will not going to find that word in any of the books or anything. This is just a semantic HTML. This statement is correct. This HTML Trinity is a semantic HTML way of representing elements, and it is done so to make you understand how exactly this structure works. So we are calling this with an alias called Trinity, you can say. Okay? Does that answer? Okay. Time for an assignment. Get the latest code. That's the first thing you need to do. Okay? Get the latest code from parent repository. I'm just gonna say short term for repo. No one says repository. People uses short terms, and the short term is repo. Okay, many people will say like, have you pushed your code to your repo or not, like that. You just understand it's repository. Okay, so get the latest code from your parent repository upstream. If you don't know how to do it, message in the group. I'll explain the answer again in the group. So get the latest code from the parent repo. Okay, inside 10/10/2016 folder, create a new HTML file by your name. Inside that file, create HTML Trinity. Again, this refers to the structure. Okay, this refers to the semantic HTML structure. I don't want you to get confused. Okay, so create an HTML file, and inside name it to your name, and then inside that you need to create the Trinity HTML structure. Okay, inside the section, create a form. I want you guys to do Google on how to do a form, and the hint is w3cschools.com. This is a good website. If you click on HTML forms, this is how you write a form. I want you guys to do Google on this. Okay, inside the section, create a form. Do Google on how to create a form. Okay, and inside this form, create 3 input type text element. Just create 3 elements, input elements. When I say 3 input elements, I just want you to create something like this. That's it. Okay, just create 3 input elements. Star, make sure to push your changes, your assignments, let me say that, your assignments before 5 p.m. tomorrow. And one more star point, make sure you follow the indentation. If you don't follow indentation, then you're not following the classes. Okay, let's see. Difference between standard mode and Quicks mode. I'm sorry, what's the question? Can you explain the difference between standard mode and a Quicks mode? Okay. In yesterday's class, we talked about the document type. Okay, when a browser reads an HTML file, let's say there is an HTML file associated to this google.com website. When the browser reads this HTML, it will not understand which version of your HTML is unless you define the document type, which is the first line here. Okay, If it doesn't find which version of HTML is, like HTML1, 2, or HTML4 or HTML5, what browser is going to do is it's going to render one particular element as its own understanding. If it understands like, oh, header is an inline level element, let's say, it's going to treat it as an inline, it's going to render it as inline. And if the section is block level, chances are browser will not understand what section is because it doesn't know. As I said, sections, header, articles, all of these elements are part of HTML5 only. If browser treats this index file in this index.html as HTML3, it doesn't know what article is or what header is or what section is, right? If it doesn't understand an element, it will simply render with its own understanding. If it doesn't understand anything, it will understand something and it will do some garbage rendering. This this behavior of understanding on its own and then doing a garbage rendering, this is what called as Crux mode. Okay. ఒక బ్రౌజర్ వచ్చేసి HTML ఫైల్ ని రీడ్ చేస్తున్నదంటే దాంట్లో అసలు డాక్యుమెంట్ టైప్ ఉందా లేదా చెక్ చేస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు కనుక డాక్యుమెంట్ టైప్ లేదంటే తన అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ప్రకారం ఒక ఎలిమెంట్ ని రెండర్ చేస్తుంది. సిన్స్ ఇట్ డజంట్ నో ఏ వర్జన్ ఆఫ్ HTML మీరు వాడుతున్నారు. మీరు HTML1 వాడుతున్నారా, మీరు HTML5 వాడుతున్నారా, HTML4 వాడుతున్నారా, it will not understand. So if it doesn't understand what article is or what header is and what does nav or paragraph is, అదేం చేస్తుందంటే తన సొంతంగా అదేదో రెండర్ చేస్తూ పోతుంది అండ్ మీ వెబ్సైట్ మీ పేజ్ వచ్చేసి బ్రేక్ అయిపోతుంది. And if your website breaks, that's because of this garbage rendering, and that is what is known as Crux mode. Okay, so that's why the very first line inside your HTML file should be the doc type, and we write doc type in this way. Exclamation right after this less than symbol means it's important, and the doc type, it defines the document type of your HTML document, and HTML5 simply has the keyword HTML to it. When the browsers, nowadays the browsers are so intelligent that when they see this line, they will make out, okay, this is HTML5. I can understand what article is. I can understand what header is, what are inline elements and what are block level elements. And then they will render it that way. So that's why declaring a doc type at the top of your website is very, very important. Okay. Does that answer your question? Is it compatible to all browsers? Yes, it is. Defining doc type, it is compatible to all browsers except for Internet Explorer 6 and below. 6 and below, they don't support doc type because till then the doc type was when Internet Explorer 6 was introduced, the doc type concept was not introduced at all. Okay, I'll repeat myself in Hindi. Okay. अभी क्या होता है कि जब एक वेबसाइट, एक ब्राउजर, एक वेब पेज, एक वेबसाइट HTML फाइल डॉक्यूमेंट को रीड करता है, वो टॉप टू बॉटम रीड करता है, वन लाइन आफ्टर द अदर. ठीक है. अगर उसको पहला ही लाइन डॉक्यूमेंट टाइप नहीं पता चला तो वो क्या है, कुछ एलिमेंट्स को समझ ही नहीं पाएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर मैंने डॉक्यूमेंट टाइप यहाँ मेंशन नहीं किया है, मैंने कहा था कि आर्टिकल, हेडर, नेविगेशन, nav, पैराग्राफ, ये जितने भी एलिमेंट्स हैं ये सब HTML5 में इंट्रोड्यूस किए गए थे. ये सब एलिमेंट्स HTML4 में एग्जिस्ट नहीं करते हैं. सो अगर डॉक्यूमेंट टाइप says you are using HTML4, then browser will get confused. उसको समझ में नहीं आएगा कि ये सब एलिमेंट्स क्या है, क्योंकि HTML4 में तो एलिमेंट्स थे ही नहीं. तो वो अपने मन मर्जी से कुछ रेंडर करेगा. और वो अपने मनमर्जी से जो रेंडरिंग करता है उस पूरे कॉन्सेप्ट को क्रिक्स मोड बोलते हैं। ठीक है, इसके लिए डॉक्यूमेंट टाइप मेंशन करना बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड द वेरी फर्स्ट लाइन, the very top of the line of the document should be your document type. ठीक है, and if you say document type HTML5, तब जाके ब्राउजर को समझ में आएगा अच्छा ये डॉक्यूमेंट जो है ये HTML5 वर्जन का है और मुझे क्या करना है कि ये इसको आर्टिकल की तरह ट्रीट करना है, इसको हेडर की तरह ट्रीट करना है, इसको सेक्शन की तरह ट्रीट करना है और मैं उस हिसाब से मैं रेंडर करूंगा। तब उसको जो है समझ में आएगा कि ब्लॉक लेवल एलिमेंट्स क्या है और इनलाइन लेवल एलिमेंट्स क्या है। ओके, इज इट क्लियर? So that is the difference between Quirix modes and standard mode. You have to always define the Quirix, the doc type to avoid the Quirix mode. Okay.
Shrikar,
Yes.
this is Raman. I have a question like, can we have unordered list inside an ordered list?
As I said, the unordered list can have only one child, that is the list item. You cannot have any other elements. You should
So
not.
what? So what if I want to render one dot some heading and under the one I want to have bullet points like.
You can always like okay, in this example that I have written as home. Inside that
Yeah.
you can always have another Trinity structure. But that
Okay,
has to be the list item, not the unordered list. Okay, unordered list, the UL or the OL should have only one child called li. It cannot have any other child. So if I find li, I can have always another article with another header. Let's say test, something like that. And then I can always have a section. And then finally I can have a footer. Test footer, let's say. And then I can say this as test header. Okay. And if I save like this, what will happen? This entire is one bullet point. This entire piece, this is treated as one list. That entire Trinity, the article, section, the header, footer, that entire is treated as one list. Okay, so this is how you write it. You cannot have an article inside. You should not. Lexically, it's incorrect. You cannot have an article here. Let's say if I have an article here, it will not add a bullet point to that. Let's say I save it. If I refresh it, you see I don't have a bullet point here. So lexically, I'm saying lexically, not rendering wise. Lexically, it's incorrect. You should not be writing that type. Okay, does that answer?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, I'll help you out, Monica. Just hold on. Any other one? If anyone else has any questions, because that marks the end of the class. Tomorrow we'll discuss further. But does anyone have any questions about the HTML Trinity, the assignment, anything? Please let me know. If we don't, then I'll simply go ahead. I'll say, okay, I have some modified files. I have index modified and I have an untracked file. I'll say git add everything. Then I'll say git status. Okay. Then I'll have git commit -m day 2 added with assignment. And then I did not push the changes yet, guys. Hold on. I'm pushing my changes here. And then git pull origin master. It's up to date. And then git push origin master. Now the latest code is just pushed now. So if I go back and if I refresh, now you'll see today's class, and this will have your assignment. This is your index, and also your mark sheet is right here. So whoever has not completed their assignments, they are marked as incomplete. Only a couple of them have completed the assignment. Kudos to those. Others, I want you to complete this assignment also, please. Okay? Now if you do a proof, okay, let's see. Okay, at this point, the class is done. Anyone who doesn't want to be, who doesn't need Git help can are free to go. That's fine. You can leave. Others who are having issues can stay back. I'll help you out with this. And let me complete the recording, and the recording will be there available. And then I'll say Neha's. I'll go to that to the folder I created, and now I'll simply say git clone. I want to clone the fork into my folder. And when I do that, I'll have everything what Neha has. So inside that, I'll have UI October 2016 class, and inside that, I'll have one folder. Okay. Now, this is the command to see to which repositories you are connected to. Okay. The command is git remote -v. This command git remote -v will tell me what my local my folder git is connected to. Okay. Okay. So if I do that, it will show me that I'm pointing to the fork URL. Okay. Niharika's so Neha's like the fork URL is what I'm pointing to right now. And everyone will be pointing, everyone's git bash will tell the same. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to open up the actual repository, which is this.
Okay.
And I need to click on this download/clone button again, and I need to get this URL. I'll select this URL, and then I'll say copy again. And then what I'll do is I will add this as a new upstream. Okay. Upstream is basically going to be our main repository.
Okay.
See, it is very difficult every time to call out this URL. It is very big. So that's why we create an alias. Okay.
Okay.
Origin alias points to your fork. Okay.
Okay.
Upstream will point to the main repository. Okay. So instead of calling this URL every single time, I have an alias called origin. So I can simply say origin and it will point to that URL. Similarly, to add another upstream, what we need to do is we need to say git remote add, and then alias name is upstream, and then I'll paste the main repository URL from this button. This is the main repository. Okay.
So Shrikar, from lab, whenever we need to call this like clone of yours and our personal links, so we can mention it as origin in place of ours, and for the main repository we can mention it as upstream, right, instead of going with that link and all.
Yeah, but
That's
you need to, yeah, that's what I mean. We are creating aliases to create an alias for that URL. You're right. But
yeah, at first,
to create the to create this link and then creating this alias, we need to basically execute this command. We have to.
okay, yeah, I got you. So from now on, I'm asking about. So from now on, we don't
Yes.
need to mention that.
Yes, that's right. So
Just
from this
straight
point
away
on,
we can mention.
yep,
Yeah.
from this point on, origin will point to your fork, upstream will
Upstream
point to the
main
main repository.
repository. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Got you.
now when I say git remote -v, now I'll see origin. That's the fork of Neha, and then I'll see upstream from the main repository. Okay. At this point, what I can do is I can say git fetch, then alias, which is upstream, and then say -v. What this command does, it basically fetches the new files which are in the main repository. Since I'm saying upstream, it takes from the main repository. If I say origin, it will take new files from the fork. Okay. But in this case, since I want you guys to take the code from my main repository, you need to say upstream now. And when you do that, it's going to look for new files, and then it's going to say like, oh, I found new branches called master, I found new branches called Shrikar, and this is the main URL, the main repository.
Okay.
So now what I need to do is I just say git merge upstream, because I want to merge the files from upstream to my fork. I'll simply say git merge upstream / the branch name, since I'm in the master branch. Okay. I'll simply say like this, and then I'll say press enter. And what it's going to do is it's going to throw a message saying that, hey, you're trying to merge something from the upstream master into your fork branch. So you simply hold the shift key and then press Z 2 times. It will save that message. And now you'll see that, there are so many new files added. So this is how you will merge from the main repository into your fork. Okay.
Okay.
Now if I say git status, it will say like, hey, your branch is ahead of 6 commits. And that is true because if I go back to Neha's repository, I only have 10.10.2016 in the GitHub website. These files are in your local. So if I open up if I open up the directory, if I go back to Neha's fork, see, in my folder, in my local computer, I have the latest code, but it doesn't exist on the server. We need to put in the server. Okay. So to do that, we'll simply do git add, then git status. Okay. Changes not staged. Okay. And then say git pull origin, the branch name. And now here I'm saying origin because I want to push all my changes to my fork. So I want to get the latest from my fork. So I'll simply say git pull from the origin, and then I'll say git push origin. Now I cannot push because well, Neha, since I'm not Neha, I don't have the rights, so I will not be able to do it. It will fail.
It asks for credentials right now.
Yeah, it will ask for
Yeah.
credentials. I don't know it.
Okay.
So that's how you do it.
Okay. So Shrikar, like what I did with the folder is like I did it from the IntelliJ. So the same thing we have to run over there. Means it's not necessary to open this
Git bash.
git
Yes.
bash.
Yep. Yep, that's right.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
you
next
can
time, like sorry to interrupt you. Like so, like you said, like partially complete, and then code is not set. So basically, I need to follow these steps in either git bash or in IntelliJ, right?
that's right. You don't have the 10/10/2016 files, and your assignment should be inside that folder. So like right
Okay.
now,
Mm-hmm.
I created this new directory, right? 10/10/2016.
Yes.
Your assignment file should be inside here. Okay. Let me go back. Go. Just a second. Let me show the fork. And then go to members. And then if I click yours, you did something just now.
No, it's like
No?
that. It's just like that.
Okay. You don't have basically you don't have yesterday's directory. The 10/9/2016. You see,
Okay.
like my repository is this. I have like these two folders. Yours has only once. So basically you don't have the latest code, and others are the same. Like you don't have the latest code.
Shrikar, can you just open my fork like that's named as Anusha 178? Because I did it last night the way the commands all you said just now. I followed all of them and it successfully did fork of it for like yeah here
Yes.
here I have 10.9 file right, but still today when I open idle something you said right editor IntelliJ, is that what?
IntelliJ.
So yeah, IntelliJ. Yeah, when I like do I still need to execute all these commands because yesterday I already did it right? Or because I was getting the error like the path is wrong. So it's saying git is not recognized as an internal or external command.
Okay. Let's see.
I tried to yeah.
Let me give you the presenting rights. Let's see
Yeah,
your
sure.
screen.
Yeah. Share from the
Yeah, and others, you don't have to stay back unless and until you have any questions. Okay. I mean, this is more of a one-on-one solving the issues.
can you see my screen now,
No, I
Shikhar?
can't. No, I can't see it.
Okay.
Are you using the website version of the GoToMeeting? You need to install. Anusha, can you hear me? Anusha, can you hear me?
Yes, Shikhar. Sorry. Can you make me presenter again? Yeah, I am. I just left the session without knowing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have three options here. shared from cloud and shared from web and shared from whiteboard.
Are you using the website? GoToMeeting?
No. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I really don't know because I'm using the app.
Oh, okay.
Share from the cloud. Go ahead and see what happens.
Share. Cloud. It's asking me for the files to show you, I think. Yeah, let me do one thing.
You need to basically, if you're using website, it will ask you to install an extension.
It's asking me, there is my option to share the link of it, and I don't even have that link here.
Okay, if anyone else is having the same issue, let me know. I can give them the presenting rights and then we can see from there. I think
Let me just
who
try
else
it.
has the issue?
Shikhar?
Yes.
This is Raman. Yeah, I have the same issue.
Okay, let's see. Let me give you the presenting rights.
Yeah.
And Anusha, hopefully
Yeah.
you can get that. Okay, Alakya, you can also see if we address this issue on yours.
ID చెప్ప ఒకసారి నాకు 7
Shikhar,
Okay, now I'm able to see your screen. Is everyone else are able to see the screen? Anusha, you, Alakya?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, Shikhar. See, I'm trying to add, but it is showing something like not a fatal error. What's this?
You are in the C drive.
Yeah.
That is wrong, right? You created a folder and you named the folder as Raman 4. You see in the IntelliJ on the top. Hold on. IntelliJ on the top, on the left side, you see the folder structure, right? The very first parent directory by the name Raman 4. Right next to it, you have the address C:\Raman 4.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to, so that is your Git project. So you need to say cd space Raman 4. You need to get inside that folder, right? From your terminal.
Okay.
So when you do that, and then you just say git status. You just do a git status now. See, it throws an error saying that you're not in the right directory. See, that is the beauty of having git bash. See, git bash will tell you if you are connected to any git repository or not by showing the blue branch name. So now you are one level up. You need to get inside. You need to go cd UI October 2016 class. So say cd space UI, then press tab. It will automatically take the entire name. No. cd.
Yeah.
You need to say cd first.
cd
space, not dot. You need to say UI. You need to enter the first three characters of the folder and then tab. Yep. Now you say git status. It will tell you the current status of your git repository. See, as I said, git, what it does, it creates a copy of the server in your local machine. That means your local machine, this folder, this particular folder also acts as a local git. So whatever you are executing this command is happening in your machine. It's happening only in your local git repository. So at this point, if you look, it says like you have this practice.html file changed.
Yeah.
So you need to say git add. Okay, before we do that. So now you're inside your git repository, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, if you say git remote -v, it will show you all the
Yeah,
aliases and all the URLs you are connected to. So now you see you are connected to origin, you are connected to
and
your upstream.
Upstream, yeah. Sure.
So now if you say git fetch upstream -v to fetch new changes in the upstream, it will take some time and then it will scan for new file changes. Now it has seen right left to master. There is a number D428FFC something. Okay, that is the new change. Whereas Shrikar is already up to date. Right? So now you can say git merge. Yeah, just now say git merge
upstream
/ the branch name, which is master.
So instead of doing
right.
the git bash, you can do.
Okay, hold on. Now it's saying something. See, your local changes would be overwritten by the merge practice.html. Please commit. Meaning you have a file called practice.html. You did not. Yeah, you did not. You did not add it in your Git memory. So you need to say now is git add dot. There's a space between add and dot.
Okay, sorry. Git add space dot.
Okay. Now you need to say git commit.
Git -v.
No, commit -m. M means message.
Okay, yeah. Git -m, right.
And then use double quotes and then leave a message. You need to leave a message.
Yeah. Sorry, forgot. -m.
Git commit -m space.
Okay.
Yeah. Use double quotes and then leave a message. Some message. What did you do in this file? This practice.html.
Initial commit, newly file. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So something like that, and then close it, and then press enter. Okay. Now you see one file changed, created node this, and it gives that message. Right. Now you do the git fetch, git merge.
Okay. After adding, so we need to do
now you do git merge upstream.
Merge up
space upstream.
Yeah. / master.
Yep. That's the branch name you are connected to.
Yeah.
See, it has downloaded all these files. Now, if you go on, if you come out of terminal and click on the top left where you have this folder structure inside your IntelliJ. So on the very top left, you see this file edit view.
Yeah.
Inside the view, you have this blue color spinner.
Inside the view?
Below the view. No. Below the view, you have that blue circle thingy, right?
Yeah.
It's basically refresh. You click on that.
Okay.
See, once you click on that, it will refresh your IntelliJ, and it will refresh with the new files. So now you have new files.
Okay.
Okay. At this point, if you go back to terminal and then press git status.
Git status.
You need to click on it says your branch is ahead by 4 commits.
Yeah.
So your local is ahead of the fork by 4 commits. Okay.
So you have to pull.
I need to pull on right now.
No.
Pull.
Ahead. No. See, hold on. Ahead means you are ahead. So if you pull, you will see already up to date. You need to push.
Okay.
But you can always always do a pull. So say git pull.
Yeah.
git pull
origin.
space origin space master. Master is the branch name. You see,
And
it
then
says
git
already
push.
updated.
Yeah, and then
Now
git
you
push
say git push origin master.
master. Yeah.
So this is the step you follow to merge from your parent repository into your local. Now you're finding it difficult because you guys are learning, but once you get hold of it, these commands will take like couple of seconds. You hardly take 10 seconds to get all the code merged.
Yes, my
ప్రతి కంపెనీలో ఈ పనులు మొత్తం ఇట్లా టకటగా అయిపోతాయి 5 నిమిషాల్లో.
అది నిన్న చేశాను అసైన్మెంట్ ఇక్కడే కన్ఫ్యూజింగ్ గా ఉండే. సో
మీరు ఆ ఫోల్డర్ లోపల ఉండాలి. మీరేమో సి డ్రైవ్ నుంచి చేస్తున్నారు, అందుకు మీకు ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింది. ఇఫ్ యూ రిఫ్రెష్ నౌ, గో టు యువర్ ఫోర్క్, you will see that your new changes are already there.
Which folder did to assignment? I think this is a folder. Let me check. ఎక్కడ
ఈ రెండు ఫైల్స్ వచ్చాయి కదా, ప్రాక్టీస్ న్యూలీ, అదిగో రైట్ సైడ్ లో మీ మిడిల్ లో మీ మెసేజ్ కూడా ఉంది. గో బ్యాక్ వన్ స్టెప్.
ఒక్క నిమిషం.
ఇక్కడ లాస్ట్ లో ప్రాక్టీస్ డాట్ HTML ఉంది కదా,
వచ్చింది కదా,
న్యూలీ యాడెడ్ ప్రాక్టీస్ ఫైల్.
సో
దట్ ఈస్ ద లేటెస్ట్ స్టేజ్.
Shrikar, yesterday, like in the first class, you told like how to add a new file, right? You then created git must follow commands in new file, a notepad file. So even I tried that yesterday. Like I got error. Can you make me the presenter? I just log in to GoToMeeting using app. So I think now I can share my screen.
Okay. So that answers your question, right, Raman?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, let's see. Let me make you the presenter.
Anusha, yeah. Yes. Can you? I think you can see my screen now. Yeah. Yes. So here, can you see this command? First, I started with this cd change directory. And then I have mentioned like and then UI class and then to the other directory. So within that UI directory there is one more directory. Then after when I click on git status, it's showing this error, and I think this error is because of the path.
No. Read the error carefully.
Git is not recognized as an internal command or external.
This means that you haven't installed Git in your machine.
Is it?
Yes.
But I have it, right?
No. If you search for git bash,
okay,
you will not see git bash.
This is the one, right?
Yeah, but look for no.
Okay, not this one.
No, hold on. This is. Okay, after installing git bash, did you restart your computer?
I'm not sure. I think I did, but I'm not sure. I did it.
Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Close your IntelliJ.
Okay.
Yes. See, that is the reason why I encourage you guys to use git bash. I mean, it's my mistake. I'm also using IntelliJ's terminal. But moving forward, I will not be using. I'll be using git bash because git bash is the right way of doing stuff. It's not the IntelliJ one. It's my bad. I'll make sure that I don't use those terminal again. So now do this. From your git bash, you have already opened, right? Git bash.
Yeah.
Say cd/c. I mean, go to the project. Where do you have the project?
Okay. No, it's in C. So, like you asked me about
where is your project? Yeah. Where do you have where did you clone your fork?
Here in this Anusha fork.
In the Anusha fork. Okay. So let's say go back to git bash.
Okay.
Press enter. I mean that means you're going into C drive. Now go inside this Anusha fork.
Okay.
Just press Anusha and then tab.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tab.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then do
Anusha.
ls. Now say ls. You have one folder called UI October. You see, right next to Anusha 4, you don't see master, see? Or any,
Yeah.
if you have anything like blue, that means you're inside that branch. Like you're connected to Git. That means you're not. So now you get inside that UI October class.
Again, CD, that's what you're telling?
Yes. Now here it says master. At this point, you can
now I'm here, right?
Yeah. So now
Okay.
now you say git status. It will tell you the current status. So you're on the master branch and everything is clean. So open up your, go back to the folder. No. Just go back to the folder. Open up that directory. Okay. So at this point, you don't have the latest file that I just uploaded.
Yes.
So now you go back to git bash. Here you first say git remote -v. This command will tell you all the
Repository.
URLs you are connected to. Okay.
Like to which repository I have connected to, that's all?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So you are connected to origin, which is pointing to your fork. You see, it says GitHub/Anusha178. And upstream is what github.com/hotdog19878, which is mine, which is considered as main repository.
So now we have to merge it or fetch,
we
right?
gave the alias origin to your fork, and then we gave upstream as alias to the main repository.
Okay.
So now you say git fetch. You need to fetch the upstream. And when I say, and in companies, you will be clearly saying the same, people will be saying the same thing. Fetch the main repository, get the latest from the main repository. All of them point to the same command that you're typing right now. It says git fetch upstream, then space -v.
So -v for what?
-v is indirectly saying forcefully pull all the new files.
Okay.
I know it should be saying -f, but in Git's world, it's verbose. Verbose means forcefully take whatever the new changes are. That keyword means verbose. So that -v stands for verbose.
Okay,
So
so
we
we are
need to
fetching
always force it.
all the files. We are fetching all the files from the upstream one. That's
from the main repository. That's right.
Yeah, main repository. Okay.
So when you do that, you see right next to master, left to the master, you have some number.
Yeah.
And then left to Shrikar, it says up to date. That means there is some change in the master branch, and there is no change in the Shrikar branch. Right?
Okay.
So now,
now
you say git merge upstream / the branch name.
So master is not up to date, so we have to mention master.
Yes, your master is not up to date. So you just say that, enter, and then it will add these files. So now if you open the folder again.
So git status?
No, yeah, you can do that. But if you open up the folder.
Okay. Yeah.
You will see the new files. These are the new files that came from the main repository. Okay.
Okay.
So now if you go back to the git bash and then say git status, it will say like, your branch master, which is in the origin. Origin is the fork, remember?
Yeah.
That is, so your main fork, which is in the GitHub, is behind, and your local is ahead. So now you need to push your changes.
Can you repeat this one? Ahead and behind concept, yeah.
So when you said git status, it says your branch is ahead of origin. Now origin is the URL to your server, to your fork, right?
Yeah.
Your fork, which is inside GitHub, does not have these file changes. Okay, అంటే తెలుగులో రిపీట్ చేస్తున్నా. GitHub వెబ్సైట్ ఏదైనా ఉందో, GitHub వెబ్సైట్ లో మీ ఫైల్స్ లేవు, ఆ కొత్త ఫైల్స్ లేవు మీ ఫోర్క్
Yeah.
లో. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మీ ఫోర్క్ ఓపెన్ చేశారు అనుకోండి, యా క్లిక్ ఆన్ దట్. ఇది మీకు
Here,
చూడండి, మీ
like,
URL చూడండి, anusha178/UI October
yes.
2016. అది ఇది మీ ఫోర్క్. ఓకే,
Yeah.
దీంట్లో 10/10/2016 ఫోల్డర్ లేదు.
Yes.
మీ
Oh,
వెబ్సైట్
got
లో
you.
లేదు, మీ వెబ్సైట్ ఫోర్క్ లో లేదు, కానీ మీ కంప్యూటర్ లో ఉంది.
Yes, you're like here, right?
మీ కంప్యూటర్ లో ఉంది చూడండి, అదిగో
Yes.
అక్కడ ఉంది. So that
Okay.
means your local machine has the latest changes, but your actual Git repository on the server, github.com is your server, doesn't have
Does
those
not
new
have.
files.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is basically push your new files onto the server. So the command is git push origin, since origin is your fork, and then say master. Master is the branch name.
So from
There is no
like,
slash here.
yeah.
Okay, there is no slash here. That is
So
the
now,
difference. That is the stupidity key difference that Git has. I don't know why, but when you are
Yeah.
merging from the upstream, you need to say upstream/master. But when you are pushing to your fork, you should not be saying slash. So you simply say origin master.
So now we are pushing the
These
this
new
10
files.
this
Yeah.
new file from my local
To
fork?
your server, from your local
Yeah.
machine to the server.
Okay. Okay. Good push
To press
origin
enter.
master. Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Hello, Shekhar.
Sorry.
Shekhar, Manoj. Like in git bash, I entered the command git space remote space -v.
Git space remote space -v. Yes. Manohar, just give me 1 second. Huh? I'll get back to you. So now you have successfully pushed your files. Now
Yes,
if you open up your website
Okay.
and
Refresh
refresh,
it.
you will see the new files.
Okay, so this file is not at present at the time. Now it
Now
was
it has.
just added,
Yes.
but it's showing 40 minutes ago.
That is because I pushed it 40 minutes ago to my main
Oh.
repository.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so don't go by the time, because this is what I did in my main.
Okay, so Shikhar, like yesterday you have given one assignment, right? For that, so which IDE you suggest us to use? Is that Sublime? Is that okay, or IntelliJ?
My personal preference is IntelliJ.
I
But
didn't
it's
get it. Like
again,
just now you told not to use that one, right?
No,
Is
no, no.
that one?
No. Don't use the terminal of the IntelliJ. Okay, if you open up the IntelliJ,
Okay.
the terminal at the bottom is the command prompt. It's similar as Git Bash. I said don't use that, but the IDE itself is good for writing the code.
So like in order to do assignment right now, for example, like if I open this one, I have seen yesterday when I downloaded it, I have seen it has asked me so many questions. I don't know what
You
to mention.
downloaded the ultimate version.
Oh, okay. You
Like,
said like commerce.
so I said,
Anusha, yeah.
I'm sorry, Anusha. I'm so sorry. You should download the community edition.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what the problem I think.
Yeah, this is the wrong one. You can uninstall this if you want to.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Download the community edition.
Okay.
And then that will work. You see, this is the terminal at the bottom.
Yeah. I see.
Don't use this.
Okay.
Yeah, don't use this. But you can always edit the HTML and everything.
Okay, I got you.
So that's what I was saying. Like, don't use this terminal.
Yeah.
Just use the IDE to write your code. And then from Git Bash, you do your changes. You do whatever with the Git related from Git Bash.
So daily, what we have to do, we have to follow the same process in order to get your files into our fork.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because in any company, we'll be following the same rules.
Okay, Shikar.
Every day when we deal with code, a new
Okay.
code will be pushed. We need to get the new changes
Changes from others. Yeah.
from others and then push our changes. So this is what you do it. You fetch, you merge, then you push. You do every time the same thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you, Shikhar. Thank you so much.
No problem. So Manu,
Yeah.
okay, let me make you the presenter.
Should we commit right after that pushing?
Sorry.
Anusha pushing files to the server, right?
Uh-huh.
After that, can we commit or leave it? Leave it.
Push is the last. See, push means you're pushing your files into the server, and that is the last step.
Okay.
So what Anusha just did is she made
That's
some
the
changes
last.
in the local, and then once that is done, she pushed
That's
it
the
to her
final.
final. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
So you after that you'll be done. And I mean, if you do a git status, it will say like everything is clean, nothing to do, nothing to commit or
Okay.
anything like that.
Okay.
So does that answer
Yeah,
your question, or do you still? Okay, guys. Anyone else has any questions?
Speaker, this is Manohar. I shared my screen.
I'm not able to see your screen actually. Are you using the web version of it? Then you need to install.
I added my extension.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
No. Oh yes, now I'm able to see.
You able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Actually, like in Git Bash, I enter like git remote space v,
Yes.
but it's upstream, but it says like upstream also like directed to my fork.
Yeah. You accidentally added the same fork URL as upstream.
Like, how to change that to .NET?
Okay. Let's assume for a second that I'm not there.
Okay.
Let's assume for a second, everyone who are in the meeting, let's assume for a second that I'm not there. Then what would be your first instinct to do?
What I'm doing is like I'm trying to do.
No, not that. That doesn't answer my question. No, hold on. My question is, let's say don't do that.
Okay.
Hold on, don't do that. Let's say I'm not there. Then whom you will be asking this question to?
Google.
Exactly. So let's say you want to remove upstream. Simply do a Google, says git remove upstream. And let's see if you find an answer. I want to train you guys to do Googling more enough, because when you join a company, I won't be there to help you out, or even Vishwa. So you're completely on your own. So and no one will stop you from using Google. I'm 110% positive. Okay. Yeah, removing upstream. So if you scroll down, that is, see, you did the same thing, right? I messed up when I'm trying to do upstream. So if you scroll down, you will find the answer. The selected answer is what? Let's see. It says git remote rm upstream.
Yep.
Execute the same command. Okay. Now go back to your git bash and execute the same command. Git remote
RM upstream.
rm upstream. Exactly.
Yep.
Do that. Now execute the remote -v command. Git remote -v. Now you see only origin, right? And my upstream is gone.
Yeah.
So now you can add back the upstream. See, always perform Google, right? Whatever questions you have, right? Just throw it in the Google search bar. I'm 99% sure you will find some answer. Yep, and then paste it. Then press enter. And now you say get remote -v, you will see origin and upstream.
Yep,
Now it is doing that, right? Now we'll follow the same step of fetching, we'll do the same merge, everything is the same.
Okay, thank you, Srikar.
Okay?
Yep.
I hope that answers. Anyone else has any questions, concerns, issues? If not, then we will call it a day. Tomorrow 6 o'clock Pacific time, and by 5 p.m. I'm hoping to see the assignments. And trust me,
Yeah.
guys, you will see, like, it will only take like 5 minutes max. 5 minutes
Yes,
max.
sure. Sorry that I didn't did the assignment. Actually, the problem with this one is like we got to know what the code is exactly, and whenever we find some error, we really don't know how to get out of it.
Ask it.
Yeah,
ask in the group. Ask in
sure.
the group. This is
Yeah.
see, our collaborative effort is to basically share our experiences, share our questions with each other, because like exactly like you, every other is a newbie or a new student who wants to learn this UI development, because tomorrow you're going to get a job, right? And in the job,
Yes.
no one is going to answer your questions. You're completely on your own. And as I said on day one, I will not be helping you out in your job. Sorry, but that's how it is.
Yes. Yes.
So this is the time to learn, right? So ask questions, ask in the group. Don't hesitate.
Sure. Sure.
Everyone will share your questions and answers. So, and if you like, if you try to understand, it's very easy UI development. It's not that hard. It's just that I'm taking time to explain you in depth and slowly and everything. But if you get the hang of it, it's like 5 minutes that you can get your complete project up and running.
Yes.
Right? So if you have any questions, ask it in the group and we'll help you out. And that goes for everyone.
Sure, Srikar. Yeah.
Okay?
I'll do that from now. Yeah.
Sounds good? Okay, guys.
Yeah.
So tomorrow 5 o'clock, assignment submissions, and 6 o'clock we'll do the class again. We'll move forward.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow.